let's bring in our featured Somerset Artists of the Week. Well, 50% anyway. One is from Somerset, of course, one is from Worcestershire. So, tonight we're shining a spotlight on the alternative rock band Goodbye Cassini. They're a duo comprising of Colin Henderson and Stuart Smith. Genuinely don't know how their duo works. I'll ask them in a bit, because Colin, as I say, is based in Bridgewater, Stuart is based in Worcester, and they've released music. So I don't know how that works. We will find out as we introduce them into the show. Evening, lads.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. As I say, we will find that all-important question out a little bit later on. But first of all, I mean, we need to go back in time to when you guys were little ankle biters listening to music growing up. What was it like? What got you first into listening to music? What bands were they?
For me, it's Stuart here. Hello. For me, I began listening to music with Big Country, the 80s Scottish rock band. I had a VHS cassette, and it was about the only access I had to listening to music back in those days. There was no YouTube, no Spotify or anything, obviously. And this VHS cassette was everything to me. I wanted to be Stuart Adamson on stage with a guitar. Managed to get my hands on a guitar from quite a young age, and went from there.
Nice. Dare I ask, Stuart, before we move on to Colin, have you still got the cassette player?
I have.
Yes! I love it. I love it when that happens. I love it when that happens. We can put it in a museum of Stuart. Right. Colin, how about yourself?
For me, I was kind of always, like, my dad was always listening to music in the car, sort of Meatloaf, and he listened to a lot of country music as well. And then so I was kind of into music through that. And then I remember the sort of moment that I sort of got my own kind of identity with music was I used to get a lift to school with this guy that I went to school with, and his dad drove a minibus to school with all these, picked up a load of kids in the local villages and stuff. And then we were in the bus, I think I was about 12 years old, and All the Small Things by Blink-182 was playing, and it just sat there, and I just thought, this song's amazing, and it just sort of really clicked with me. And then after that, I sort of immersed myself in that kind of music, and was go to like the local, I think I'd go to like Our Price on a Saturday with my pocket money and buy what CD I could for a fiver. Like, just sort of be like, okay, here's, well, it's Blink-182, Green Day, The Offspring. And then, after that, saved that money for a guitar. Wasn't really good at guitar, then got a bass. And then that's sort of it, really, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, if you guys are a bit like me, did you sort of pick up a musical interest from your dads?
I guess so, yeah. We always had a lot of music in the family. It was always a big part of our lives. We went to concerts together. Our journeys were, play me a song from the 80s, and it will have been on a mixtape that we had in the car for years as a family. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I can say that as well. I mean, none of my parents were sort of musical. They didn't play instruments or anything, but there was always sort of music in the car. And I just sort of remember being a kid, and my dad, the rare occasion my dad would pick me up from school in the car, he'd be waiting outside the school with like Meatloaf blasting. I'd be thinking, oh God, I don't want to get in that car. But
it was Pink Floyd for me, mate. It was Pink Floyd for me.
At a sort of age of 12, 13, you think, I do not want to be in this car. I'll just walk. Yeah.
But I bet you love Meatloaf now, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There you
I love
go.
him, and he's like can appreciate his like output and his influence now, definitely. But that's the thing, at that age you don't do.
There you go. And I now consider Dark Side of the Moon to be one of the finest albums on the earth. So what I know I can hear in your voices the Scottish twang. So do you both come from Scotland?
We do, yeah.
I
grew up in Dunblane. Colin from Dumfries, so right down in the southwest of Scotland, where I'm South Belt. So we were in a band together up there, which is how we met each other 15 years ago or so, was it, Colin?
Yeah, it'd be like 15, 16 years ago. We sort of found, you joined the band because we needed a drummer. We'd put an advert out on like Gumtree or something, and you responded, and then that's sort of how we met. So even then, we were sort of, I was from the south of Scotland, just over the border, and you were like up in Dunblane, and we came together in Glasgow.
And then find our way down here somehow.
Yeah.
So it was Glasgow that brought you all together. So what was the first band called?
That was Always Read the Label, that was called.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I believe they may still be going. I'm not sure.
So
But
is
it'd be
that
very
so is
different
that what
band.
sort of gave you the taste for being in your own band, basically?
Yeah, we've got some great memories from being in that band. Some of the gigs we played together.
Oh yeah.
Certainly around Glasgow. It's an amazing live scene in Glasgow. Yeah, we've been in bands since then. Obviously, in different places. Colin lived in London for a fair while. I've been in Worcester for 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never sort of experience this because I've got the musical talent of an oyster. So what is it like stepping out onto that stage for the first time, doing a gig of your own in your own band? What's the feeling like when you're performing songs in front of an audience?
Amazing, but it's an absolute roller coaster of emotions, because it's kind of like I said to Stu about 20 minutes ago, that we were messaging before we came on this interview and said, I've got that feeling that we get before you go on stage, that it's that kind of your stomach's in knots and you're kind of pacing around the house, and you're sort of like, well, I was pacing around the house tonight, certainly, but normally you're sort of before a gig, it's just the nerves. And then after that first kind of, you get through the first kind of 30 seconds, and then the adrenaline just kind of carries you through, I think. And then before you know it, it's time to pack up your stuff. And then you're like, where's that sort of half an hour gone?
That's absolutely it. I mean, for me, it's the same thing, the butterflies that build up before the set. And it doesn't matter how much preparation you do before a live show. You know things are going to go wrong when you get on stage. And you can't take your mind off half of that stuff half the time. You know you're going to walk on and trip over, or you're going to break a guitar string, or something daft like that will happen.
But I bet straight afterwards, once the gig is done, I bet you want to then just get back up and do it again, do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%, yeah, definitely.
So going into writing your own music, which you've done for this new track, which we'll play in just a bit, how did that work? Did you sort of go off and form this duo that we know now? How did the writing start, basically?
We've tried a few different approaches to writing so far. Obviously, we're 100 miles apart. Obviously, we've not been able to meet up because of the coronavirus pandemic. So a lot of it's been done over the internet. We've actually got about an album's worth of material to still needs a bit of development here and there, and obviously needs recording and mixing and everything. But we've tried a few different approaches to writing. Some of it we've done on our own individually and just shared the ideas. Other times we've thought of a tune, a melody, or even a drum pattern, and shared it across a WhatsApp chat.
Yeah.
And then the ideas have flown back and forth like that, and before long, you've got a full song at the end of it.
Yeah. That's it.
So let's actually get onto this new track then, because this is a track by you guys, by you two, Goodbye Cassini. You guys were formed in the first lockdown, am I right in thinking?
Yep.
Yeah. We sort of, I think we talked about it initially back in like late 2019, sort of toyed with the idea, because like Stu said earlier, we'd both been in bands over the years, in different bands, and then it was kind of like I was sort of like prepared to sort of pack away all my stuff and give up and never be in a band again, kind of thing. And then got that itch of, oh well, I want to do it again, but who I don't really want to. It's meeting people as well when you don't know someone, especially if you're not from like the area, because I'm not from Bridgewater originally. So like trying to go out and meet people that you don't know, you then build a rapport with them and build a relationship, and then develop that into a band. And then I remember sort of just chatting with Stu about it, and we kind of thought, well, why don't we just do a band? Like, you know, like let's sort of do it. And then that was like said sort of 2019, and then first lockdown came, and it was kind of like, oh, do you want to do a band? Because we've got a bit of time on our hands now. And that's so like Stu mentioned, the ideas are getting back and forward, and then songs develop, and here we are. Yeah.
And the rest sort of comes with that, which is brilliant. So this song then, Lightning Strikes, tell us about it. What's the bare bones of it? What's it all about?
This is since we conceived the idea for Goodbye Cassini, as we've already spoken about, being on stage and live music is a big reason that we're here doing this in the first place. So Lightning Strikes, I don't particularly like to talk about song meanings. I like the idea that everyone gets their own thing from it. Everyone interprets the lyrics or the melody their own way. So I like asking people about that and see what they get from it. But the song was written from personal experience, lyrically from me, but also to be good live, to be good fun to listen to. And I hope that comes across. And we do have a video for it as well, which I hope comes across as a good fun video.
Brilliant. Well, it's a cracking song. We're going to get it on now. Here it is. It's Lightning Strikes. Goodbye Cassini. Have a listen.
Starts with a smile, but it ends with a smile. We are tired of feeling low. Tie my hands behind my back and push me to my knees. You point a gun in my head and you make me beg. It's so bittersweet. And at 6 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be waiting by the phone. The only rain I'll hear is in my ears from the time when your bullet shot me down. And I need no explanation. It's as clear as mud to me. In the same place twice in the night. It's so bittersweet. Here's your causality. You brought this on yourself, and I hope that it hurts you feel it's alive before you take it out on somebody else. I ask of you is look towards the skies. Feel the cold in the breeze as everyone leaves. It's so bittersweet. And at 6 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be waiting by the phone. The only ring I hear is in my ears from the time when your bullet shot me down. And I need no explanation. It's as clear as mud to me. Well, lightning strikes in the same place twice in the night. So bittersweet. This time tomorrow, I'm waiting no more. I see clearly. Fool me once, but lightning strikes twice. It's so bitter. And at 6 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be waiting by the phone. The only ring I'll hear is in my ears from the time when your bullet shot me down. And I need no explanation. It's as clear as mud to me. Well, lightning strikes in the same place twice in the night. It's so bittersweet.
Oh, that blew away the cobwebs. Lightning Strikes from Goodbye Cassini, Colin Henderson, Stuart Smith, who are tonight's featured musicians. Good evening, guys. Welcome back. What a great tune.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So,
Just hearing it back, there's maybe want a gig again. So come on.
I bet it does. I bet it does.
Yeah,
which you must be
definitely.
longing to do, both of you, both as a duo, I suppose, because I suppose you haven't had a chance to gig yet as a duo, as Goodbye Cassini, have you?
No,
that's
we
fine.
haven't.
We've met up a couple of times to practice these songs out. When the rehearsal studios were back open, and we actually did it to pre-recorded drum tracks, which works better than many may think. But going forwards, we are going to become a three-piece. It was always the plan from the start, and this is the first time we've ever shared this publicly. So news to everyone. But yeah, we will be growing as a three-piece and looking for a drummer in the very near future.
Great, that's brilliant. And I loved when you were saying about your inspirations and the music that you listen to about the Blink 182. I was just saying to producer Josh Perkins, we could hear things like Blink 182 in that tune. So you can tell that you guys have sort of taken inspiration from bands like them.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I listen to we both listen to all sorts of music. I'm actually I'm a massive metalhead. I like some very dark, angry music.
We've probably been passing ships at Download Festival then in a couple of years. Have you ever been to that one?
Yeah, I've done it a few times. Yeah, I went in 2019. And I think I've just about recovered from it because the rain and the mud was just absolutely torturous.
Isn't it? Isn't it? I've been that flooded out person in the tent.
Yeah.
Didn't bring the appropriate gear. The dark clouds came over the festival site, and woof! It became an absolute mud bath. But that's part of the fun of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah, it's true. It's all part of the fun.
Too right. Let's hope we can get to festivals again in the not too distant future. But so what is the future for you guys then? Is it more writing? I know you are aching to get back to gigging. What is the plan basically, apart from obviously recruiting a new drummer?
Yes, exactly that. Right, like I say, we've got an album's worth of material to work on, so we'll continue with that, especially with a drummer on board in the near future. But I have to say, with all the restrictions that lockdown has placed on us and being a band, I'm really enjoying the challenge of trying to grow a band online using nothing but all the online platforms that we've got these days. And to be honest, I wish I could put more time into it at the moment. There's a lot can be done through the likes of Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. So we'll keep building that side. Even after gigs come back, I think we'll carry on with that side of thing.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting concept actually, the whole online growth of bands, and it sort of it gets you to test the water a little bit when in terms of social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that sort of thing, doesn't it? So that's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm interested to know actually, because obviously you guys live in two separate places, Colin in Bridgewater, Stuart in Worcester. How does it differ? Do you guys sort of see a different sort of, not market as such, but a different atmosphere in the two places when it comes to music?
Yeah, I think there is. I think, and probably even more so going into the future, each town might have a little bit more of its own identity. Worcester it's a university town, so there's a lot of transient population who come and go, and that you never really know what you're going to get on a night out in Worcester. You never really know if a venue's going to be full or empty and what sort of atmosphere there will be, which is great. I think that's a really exciting thing for a band to try and take on.
Yeah.
Bridgewater, less so.
Yeah. Is the gigging scene different in Worcester, I take it?
Yes. Yeah. I think the venues themselves form a big part of the identity. So many venues are quite unique.
Yeah, I think.
I was going to say, how about Bridgewater?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Bridgewater's a lot smaller, but as well, you got like the Cobblestones, which are an awesome little venue, and Graham does a lot of work to bring bands into that, and gives local bands a chances to support sort of the touring bands that are coming through Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And there's not as many places where bands do play in Bridgewater, but I think we definitely want to play there. We've spoken with Graham at the Cobblestones about playing there when the time comes, and obviously when restrictions will allow and stuff. So it'll be interesting to play the two places, I think, in two different Worcester's a city, Bridgewater's a town, and to sort of see the difference. But yeah.
Well, I know the Blake Hall is a brilliant place to gig, I've been told, so that could be on the list.
Yeah. I've been there. I saw a band there about a year or so ago, a Madness tribute band that went there. So it's a big place to fill, though, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see like how I think as well, once gigs come back, I think people will be really thirsty for it, and they'll be wanting to get out and enjoy themselves.
Oh, 100%.
So I think that's going to be really good for the venues that, like, especially the small grassroots venues, that they kind of rely on the people going out, because you get them people in there and they're buying a few drinks and that with their mates. That makes a massive difference. But I think where we've all been kind of cooped up for the last few months, or the last year, sorry, I think everyone's going to really itching to get out and see some music, just see some have some entertainment, and just have a good night out.
I'll be like a rat escaping a sinking ship to get to a gig. I tell you, it's going to be ridiculous.
Same here. Yeah, I think that's it. That's what's sort of exciting for us, and kind of pushing us on and making us kind of get music ready and have more music out there, and especially have a drummer ready and be ready for the live sort of scene to return, so we can kind of just seize that moment and capitalize on it. So hopefully,
and be there from the start if we can.
Yeah, 100%. Well, guys, I mean, first of all, Congratulations on the track. It's brilliant. I do love it. If people want to go and check you guys out a bit more, if you've got more music online, where do the people go and check you out?
At the moment, we're probably most active on Instagram at the moment. We do have Facebook, we do have YouTube. So if you look for Goodbye Cassini, we'll come up in any of those platforms. And certainly if you look for Goodbye Cassini Lightning Strikes, you will find us on the internet.
Yeah, it's at Goodbye Cassini Band on Instagram.
And ultimately,
we are working on our next single now as well. So that'll be announced shortly.
That's great. New single coming. That's excellent. And ultimately, I suppose, if people like what they heard, if they are good on the old drums and want to join you guys, are you sort of how are you doing the auditions? Is it going to be an audition thing, or are you just going to take CVs? How's it going to work?
We think we'll keep quiet on that one at the moment.
Okay, keep your cards close to your chest. I do not mind you keeping your cards close to your chest at all. That's absolutely guys, you've been cracking. Thank you so much for coming on the programme. It's been a pleasure. To take us out the interview, what can I play for you? What song do you both love?
Oh, we would love to hear Lonely the Brave and the song Bound.
Yeah, definitely.
Coming up. Guys, thank you so much for your time. You take it easy.
Thank you.
All the best to Worcester, Stuart. And
thank you so much.
Colin, thank you so much as well. Take care, you guys.
Thanks very much, Luke. Yeah, thanks a lot. Take care.